Okay, good morning. Welcome to NorCal PTAX in partnership with NorCal VBOC and the California DGS Office of Small Business, Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise Services. This webinar is entitled Contracting California. I'm certified DVBE. Now what? This is the third part of our Veterans Small Business Week series that we've been holding for the event of the same name that's happening this week all across the country. And we're really excited to have two veterans as our panelists today, or our presenter and then guest partner. And so we're going to talk about them just in a second. My name is James Forrest. I am a procurement specialist with NorCal PTAC. I'll mention what that is in a minute. We're being supported today by our partner with NorCal VBOC. This is the director, Kelly Bentham-Annis. Kelly, thank you so much for joining. Kelly is going to talk about VBOC in a minute. And the main presentation will be given by Wayne Gross, who is a business outreach liaison with California DGS, or what's also known as the OSDS, which I mentioned in the beginning. So we're going to hand things over to our excellent panelists in just a second. I just want to really briefly skip through what NorCal PTAC is. Basically, we're a nonprofit service. We get funding from the federal as well as state and local government, including Wayne's office, in order to put on trainings and do counseling. And we focus on government contracting. So we're not general business specialists. We are specialists in procurement. This is the Northern California Procurement Technical Assistance Center. So we can help with anything to do with government contracting specifically. In 2021, we helped our clients win more than $500 million. That's $500 million in government contracts. That's a lot of your tax money that's going back into the pockets of small businesses. I'm so really proud to have such a good economic impact for the small businesses in our service area. Our service area includes the 9 counties of the Bay Area, as you can see over here in these green counties in Northern California on the right, and then up the coast all the way to Oregon and the inland counties of Siskiyou, Trinity, and Shasta. And we offer, if you're in that service area, you can apply for our services. It offers one-on-one counseling, so we can go over just about anything related to government contracting with you in a Zoom video meeting. And someday we'll have office hours back up and running. We can also do custom bid matching. This is a service we pay for, then we offer to you for free. Basically what this does is it scours the internet for bids that match criteria that you work with your procurement specialist to put in the system. And then ideally you wake up every morning with an email with a hyperlinked bulleted list of opportunities that you might be able to bid on. So that's a really, really huge value. It does state as well as the local and federal bids as well. And then we always put on resources and training. So we're doing a ton this week. We average just about one a week throughout the year pretty much. So mostly webinars. We're looking forward to getting back to some in-person events later this year as well. But please take a look at our website, norcalptac.org. That's where you can find where to sign up. That's where you can find our calendar for upcoming events. It's also where you're going to find this webinar posted later today under the Resources Past Webinars tab. If you're not in our service area, I know we had someone that mentioned they're from Oklahoma City. You will find your local PTAC with that second orange link there. There's PTACs all across the country. I believe we're one of 96. We're each independently operated, so we don't do a very concrete referral process, but go ahead and look up your local PTAC and apply to them. And should all be friendly folks who offer just about the same services. So you can find our contact information at the bottom, so we look forward to hearing from you. Next up, we have Kelly Bentham-Annis, who is going to be talking about the NorCal Veterans Business Outreach Center. Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you so much. Good morning. My name is Kelly Bentham-Annis, and I am the director of the Northern California Veterans Business Outreach Center. And it is my pleasure to join all of you today and to work with our co-partners, the NorCal PTAC, and of course with Wayne, who's going to give you a great presentation later on this morning. So a little information about the NorCal Veterans Business Outreach Center. As was mentioned, you know, the PTAC, that's what they do. They focus on government contracting. And what we do at the Veterans Business Outreach Center is prepare you to be ready for government contracting. So with the VBOC, we serve men and women who are active duty members, service members, Guard, Reserve veterans, and their family members. So male spouses and military connected family members as well who want to start or grow a business. We collaborate with partners, as we mentioned, with the PTAC, also with the SBA, Small Business Administration, the SBDC, Small Business Development Centers, SCORE, and the Women's Business Centers. So we do provide development services, training, and consulting at no charge. I don't like the word free. I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't think there's anything that's free. Our services are not free, but they are no cost to you. And we have 22 VBOCs currently across the United States. We actually are fortunate to have 2 in California, one in Southern California, where I was a director for 3 years prior to coming to Northern California here just a couple months ago, and it's my pleasure to be here. But the good news, we're also going to be having, or we're going to be expanding to 34 Veterans Business Outreach Centers across the nation in May of 2023. And we're going to be having another, or we're going to get another PTAC, or not PTAC, VBOC, lots of acronyms in the government. We're going to be having another one that's going to be located in LA. So we'll have 3 in California. So we're funded in part also by the SBA, which is the United States Small Business Administration. Next slide, thanks. So our primary mission at the VBOC, in addition to some other things that I'll share, is what's called our Boots to Business and our Reboot workshops. So Boots to Business is a 2-day event that we hold on military bases, a minimum of once per quarter for each base that we serve. And I'll show you some of the bases that we serve in our particular service area. But this is for transitioning service members that are going to be transitioning out of the military and go through what's called the TAP program. And they're interested in starting or growing a business. A lot of our service members, even in the military, already have what we call a gig business going on. So we can, help them if they haven't, they're not legal, that sort of thing. They haven't, they're just kind of doing something on the side. We can take them through the process to have a legal business and to, maybe be official when they transition out. We also present reboots, which it's the very same curriculum that you'll see here on the right-hand side, but it's a 1-day event. We often hold this with community partners, such as the PTAC, with the Small Business Development Centers, et cetera. We have been holding them in person, which I'm happy to share, and we also hold them online. And this is for folks that maybe have already transitioned out of the service, but they just kind of want to catch up. It's basically an entrepreneurial overview for the day. And introduction to entrepreneurship. We also discuss idea formation. You have an idea for a business, but are you ready to launch the business? And can do your market research and find out if it's going to be viable. We talk about why do you price things the way that you do, legal entity, finance and access to capital, which is very relative if you're going to be doing government contracting. Oftentimes we help our businesses obtain capital so that they can basically provide the services for government contracting. We know with government contracting, they're going to get paid, but sometimes they don't know when. So they need to make sure that they have that capital to do the job. And then business planning. So you need a business plan for your business and then ongoing support. Next slide. So this is our NorCal service areas. As you can see, very similar to what James was sharing, but we actually have the whole entire northern state, from basically the Oregon border all the way to Kern County. And these are the 5 military bases that we serve, where we actually go in on the bases and train our transitioning service members. So Naval Air Station, Lemoore, Monterey, China Lake, Beale, and Travis are the bases that we serve with our Boots to Business. Next slide. So this is how we assist our clients at the VBOC, this is really where you get the biggest bang for the buck, is the one-on-one consulting with all of our service providers. I mean, we can present these workshops, have 50 people in a workshop, but I can guarantee you all 50 people are at different places, have different strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And to be able to sit down with you one-on-one and really talk about how to get you to your next level and what you might need to prepare yourself for government contracting, you can contact our office to meet one-on-one with a business consultant. So we offer other trainings, which business plans in action. We have a restaurant program that we work with our NorCal, one of our NorCal providers here, also because many of our veterans and service members are interested in hospitality and et cetera. A veteran farming and ranching workshop that's coming up in January. This is our 3rd of a series. And then also marketing essentials for your veteran-owned business, franchising options, and in collaboration with our PTAC, government contracting and veteran certifications. We also assist you with, sometimes there's so many resources. Once you find out about all those resources, how do you navigate through them? And we can certainly help you with that process in your next steps. So be sure to check out our website. It's at norcalvboc.org for updates on workshops and any other events that we have coming. And again, it's a pleasure to be here and to serve all of you today for National Veterans Small Business Week.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Really
Thanks, James.
appreciate partnering with you guys for this series and having that support. So,
Right.
Absolutely, if you're a veteran, you should take advantage of VBOC services. They have really great. Okay, so just a little housekeeping reminder. Questions are welcome. We're going to have plenty of Q&A sessions today. It's going to be pretty rapid fire, where we're going to stop at 11. So if you'd like to have your question answered, please enter it into the Q&A window. Try to keep your questions general enough that they are useful for everybody, but be specific enough that we understand what you're talking about. And please put your question in the Q&A. That would be really great, so we can follow along. The chat you can use to network, or to, if you have a technical issue, something like that, and we may be providing some links. The slides will be shared. I'll repeat that. The slides will be shared. We're still going to get 3 or 4 questions, but in the chat. But slides will be shared later today, along with the video recording. So we're recording this, so everyone will be able to review later, which I would advise you should, because you're going to get a lot of valuable information about what to do if you're DVBE certified. And we're going to hand things over to Wayne Gross right now. We've been working with Wayne for many years, and Wayne is a true expert in the field. So Wayne, thanks so much, and let's take it away.
Thank you, James. Again, my name is Wayne Gross. My email address is wayne.gross@dgs.ca.gov, and my phone number is 279-946-8387. And I have always lived on the philosophy of there is no such thing as a dumb question, except for the one you don't ask. I'm your atypical state worker. I guarantee that burning question that you have will not fall within my working hours of 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. You'll be there on a Saturday night at 5:30 with your partner watching Dancing with the Stars, and that question will come up. Contact me. I turn my cell phone off around 9:30. So, and I hopefully can answer the question or say, hey, call me tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, that kind of thing. Next slide, James. So here are the topics we'll be talking about: updating and improving your profile, bid solicitations, research past purchases, the advocates, reciprocity, whatever that is, emergency contracting, commercially useful function, and resources. Topic. Next slide. So your California e-profile, okay? You need to have a business name, email, addresses, keywords, and the UNSPSC codes. Those are the United Nations Specialty Products Specialty Codes, not to be confused with the federal codes, the NAICS codes, the North America Industry Classification System. Next slide. Okay, keywords. It's a word that describes a good or service. It's individual, it's singular, and any word can be a keyword. Example of keywords for office supplies: paper, pen, stapler, and pencil. And you notice it is the singular, not the plural. Next slide. How do you use keywords? It describes your goods and services that you sell. Enter whatever keywords you want. Certification profile only. Buyers use them to find you. Next slide. How do I select the right How do I select the right keywords? Common words, synonyms, specific and broad keywords, words that are described in your UNSPSC codes, and successful competitors. I'm going to show you how to plagiarize, because it isn't plagiarism if it's a public access. Next slide. Next is the UNSPSC codes. That is the United Nations Standard Product and Services Classification. It's an 8-digit code, and there are 4 levels. The highest level is the first 2 digits. The second level is the first 4 digits. The third level is the first 6 digits ending in 00. We call this level the parent codes. And then the 4th level is the 8-digit specific codes. We will use level 3 and 4 in our profiles. Next slide. And how do I select the right codes? Okay, there's a hierarchy, and you can look at other people's profiles. Okay, next slide. Okay, and how do I use the UNSPSC codes? Obviously, in the registration profile, that's how you actually get notices by these, either the parent or 8-digit codes. And in the certification profile, it helps promote your goods or services. Next slide. Next slide. Any questions on this?
I do not see any questions in the Q&A.
Okay.
Just a reminder that if you have questions, go ahead and pop them in the Q&A tab, and we'll ask them aloud to Wayne.
Okay, next slide. Let's go. Okay, everyone should be very familiar with this website, www.caliprocure.ca.gov. Next slide. Okay, on the top right, we're going to log in. We click the button, next slide. And you put in your username and password, and you get your work center. So what we're going to do is go down to the bottom and manage notification profile. Okay, open it up. And we are now on the notifications portion. And the first thing is, do you want to be a subcontractor? I don't care if you will never, ever be a subcontractor. You say yes, no matter what. Next slide. You put in your at least one email. The next portion is the CSCR, that is the State Contracts Register. And you want to say, yes, you want to receive bids, and you want to put in at least one email. On the right side, service areas, it says optional. It is not optional. The only choice you have is for services statewide. Why? I want to afford you every opportunity. Now, let's say you live and work in San Diego, and you only want those opportunities in San Diego. Okay, you still put here statewide, because hopefully in 2 or 3 years, you go, hey, I need to expand my opportunities. I want to include Imperial, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino, and LA. Okay, now you have the whole Southland. And so you only have to update your California profile that the world sees. You still maintain this, because there may be a contract out there that you receive that's in Sacramento, but you could do it and you'd want to bid on it. I just want to afford you every opportunity possible. Next slide. Okay, this is the UNSPSC selection, and you either can put in a search by the code or the description, the keyword. Next slide. And so I put the word paper in, and I hit search, and I got a whole bunch of different codes. And I'm going to select paper products and business use writing and writing paper. Okay, so I check both of those. Okay, next slide. And at the bottom, it says submit, and it puts them over on your notifications. So if I'm a buyer and I put in 1411500, I will get an email for that solicitation. Next slide. Okay, just before the Q&A, I just want you to know that you're going to put in as many keywords as possible and get as many UNSPSC codes, the parent codes and the 8-digit specific codes. Next slide. Or Q&A, I'm sorry. James.
Yeah, just a reminder to please put your questions in the Q&A tab, but we do see one in the chat here. Can you explain a bit more about the 3- and 4-digit codes they're asking?
Okay, again, the UNSPSC codes have 4 levels. We do the 3rd level, and that is the last 2 digits are 00, and then the 4th level would be the 8-digit specific. So in this example of 123456600 is the parent code, and then 123456001, 02, 03, 04 would be all the subcategories, the 8-digit specific codes. Anything else?
No, that's it for now. Let's keep it moving.
Let's move on. Okay, we're back, and next slide. We're going to manage certification. Next slide. Okay, we're going to amend the application. Next slide. And what happens is you see the 7 headings. We need to get to other, but the only way that we get to other is it always goes down. Sorry about that. Anyway, it always defaults to the registration page. And what we have to do is scroll down to the bottom and hit save and continue. Then we go to the business page, scroll down to the bottom and hit next and continue. Next slide. Okay, so here's the registration, save and continue. Next slide. Okay, and so you go all the way to other. And on the top left, you will see the service areas. And so this is where you can put in all 58 counties or specific counties that you want to do business. On the right side are your keywords. And you'll notice that on light bulbs, to the right is a plus sign and then an X. The X deletes it. And what we tell people to do is we want to use the singular, not the plural. So we would hit the plus sign. Next slide. I believe it happens. No, I'll go back one. I'm sorry. What happens is there'll be a blank line under light bulbs. And so you'd put in light bulb, hit the plus sign, and it gives you another empty one, and then go back to light bulbs and hit the X. Okay. You always want to update your information before you add anyone else's. Next slide. This is the UNSPSC codes. And as you see in my example, the rule is you only want in your California profile that the world sees, you only want the parent codes. You do not want the 8-digit specific. Okay. And so if I didn't like any of these 3 on the right, I would hit the X. If I want to add the UNSPSC on the left-hand side, it says add UNSPSC classification. Next slide. Okay, and so I would put in, you'll see in my description, I put in paper and I would look it up. And then I would go and I would choose the codes that I want by putting that little check mark on the left. Next slide. And you see it got saved. Okay, paper products and the other one. Okay, next slide. Any questions on this section?
No further questions at this time.
Okay, I just want to do a real quick sidebar. Every Thursday at 1 o'clock, I do a training session. It will review all this stuff, in particular, updating your profiles in Cali Procure. If you have my email address, send me an email today and just put I need trained, and I will send you the link. It's a Teams link. Next, you can join me at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Next slide. Okay, We have added a diversity page, and it's all voluntary. It's about ethnicity, race, gender identity, sexual orientation. It's all voluntary. You can change or remove the data, and it does not grant a contracting preference. If you're already certified, you can go in and fill that out. It's the last page of the application. Next slide. Okay, so, and as you see here, when you pull up your work center, it has here manage diversity information there. Next slide. Okay, and here's the actual information. It's very simple. 3 sections, and then you're done. Next slide. Okay, bid solicitations, the CSCR. This is where we find formal solicitations. It's public, it's competitive. And you, as a certified small business or DVBE, can actually post an advertisement for free. Next slide. So we always log in. You always want to log in before you look at solicitations, because you won't get all of the solicitations. Like, for example, placing an ad will not show up unless you are logged in. Next slide. Okay, and so on the home page, it has here start search for the bids. Next slide. Okay, and this is the third way of looking up the solicitations. Okay, and this list is not numeric, it is alphabetic. And for Caltrans, you have to find it under Department of Transportation, and CalVet is under Department of Veterans Affairs. Next slide. And this is the search engine, okay? And you either can put an event name that is a description, event ID if you happen to know what it is, the department, and I just showed you the slide, I put the cart before the horse. If you hit department, those 3 black lines, you will get the slide before saying that each department. Okay, next slide. And then we can do an advanced search. Next slide. And you can either do it by UNSPSC codes, service areas, or contractor license types. Next slide. There we go. Next slide. Service areas. Okay, let's do it. Okay, now this is events, and I'm just going to pull one up. Next slide. Okay, and this is what a contract looks like. And on the far left is the event ID. It tells you when it was posted and gives you a brief description. In the middle is the event end date. Very important. Okay, in this one it says February 17th at 2 p.m. If you send it in and it is received at 2:01, it's a void, okay? Just a real quick sidebar. I contact the buyer and say, hey, I can't get this up to you today. Can I fax it to you? And they go, sure. So I fax it, and I start to fax at 5 minutes to 2, and it ends at 3 minutes after 2. James, is that a valid quote?
It is not.
That is correct. It's not the start time of the fax. It's the end time. Just kind of remember that. On the right side, the far column, it has the packages, all the information that you need to put together your quote. You can post a vendor ad, and then you can view an ad, and then you have the contact information. And it's very surprising that this person actually has given you a phone number. 99% of the time, you will not get a phone number, and that is for your protection. What I mean by that, I contact Maxwell and say, hey, Maxwell, this solicitation, there's something wrong. And he writes back and he goes, Wayne, you're right. And I'm going to correct it. Well, he doesn't correct it, okay? And it gets awarded to someone, okay? Anyway, I do a protest, okay? So we're in front of the judge and the judge says, "What's going on?" I tell the judge what happened. And the judge says to me, "Do you have proof?" And I said, "Oh, you mean this email?" Okay, I have written proof. Okay, so he tells the administrator that, that he's going to have to republish it with the updated information, and then tell the person who won it that they did not win it because it was protested, and it will get reposted, and hopefully they'll win. Okay, but here again, you want to make sure that you have everything in writing. Phone calls don't mean anything. Next slide. Oh, and then at the very end, you see here, it's got the codes that they used, and as well as the contract licenses and the county areas. Next slide. And here, as reviewing all that, okay? And this is the page to post an ad. And this is the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid philosophy in practice. Your name, your email, your phone number, you give it a title and the response deadline, whenever that solicitation closes. And then you have the description. It is 2,000 words, or not words, but characters. And you always start it with your certification number. And the reason that you do that is so that the buyer, if this is in a prime sub situation, the prime can go in, look at your profile. First thing they're going to do is make sure you're current, and because you have to be current throughout the contract. And then they would contact you and say, "Hey, this is what I'm looking for. Can you give me a price on that?" Next slide. Any questions in this section?
We do not currently have any questions, so
okay, good.
Folks, feel free to drop in the Q&A and ask any question. We did get one question for your email address, so I just responded to them for it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next slide. Okay, past purchases. Okay, why do you want to know past purchases? Well, you want to find out what agencies are buying the products you're trying to sell. Next slide. So we're going to go over on the home page, and on the left side, we have here find public procurement information. Next slide. Okay, and this is where Skippers is. Okay, and also on quick links at the very top, if you click it and you have the drop down, the fourth item is the same, is Skippers. Next slide. Okay, on the top, you have a description, that's keyword, and then you hit search. You can also do an advanced search criteria. You click that, and the UNSPSE section will come up, and you can put in the 8-digit code. Okay, now when you hit submit, or search rather, okay, you will not instantly get this Excel spreadsheet. I tell people to go to the bathroom, go pour yourself a cup of coffee, let the dog out in the backyard to go potty. Hopefully by the time you come back, then it comes up, okay? So this is a valuable piece of information. The first column is the department. The second is the purchase order, okay? That identifies the solicitation. The first item tells you, what's going on. It gives you a start and end date and a total. It gives you the supplier ID and their number if they are, if they were certified. Next slide. Okay. Any questions on this?
Not right now.
Okay, next slide. Okay, your advocates. You're very fortunate in that you have Nina Martinez from CDCR as one of our attendees here today. So I thank you for being here, Nina. Anyway, these individuals, each one has a different role as far as percentage. Nina does this job, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. This is her primary job. Other advocates, it could only be 25 or 10% of their jobs. Next slide. So we go on Cali Procure, scroll down to find training and resources. Next slide. Under research and marketing, the second one says contact a small business and DVBE advocate. Next slide. Download the advocate directory. Next slide. And you get this giant Excel spreadsheet. Okay. Now, we have this thing called the small business DVBE option for IT and non-IT goods and services from 5,000 and a penny up to 250,000 minus a penny, and 5,000 and a penny up to 388,000. The buyer has the option of going into the database and finding at least 2 small businesses or 2 DVBEs. You can't mix the certifications. If you are a DVBE and qualify for the small business certification, get it. And this is one of the main reasons. If I'm looking for a painter, okay, and I'm looking for SBs, you're in that, you're in that search. If I'm looking for DVBEs, you're in that search, okay? 6 years ago, our director said that the option was a bunch of bunk. Why? Because they had people like me doing workshops like this, trying to lure you into getting certified. So would it not be logical that my department, the Department of General Services, the buyers would come to you first? And so we created the Small Business DVBE First policy. There are 18 agencies that have this policy, and they are highlighted on here in yellow. Okay, and you'll notice column C is if you are in the construction world, you only have to contact those people with the X in the column. Okay, next slide. And that is the first policy. And then at the very bottom is Caltrans. They created their own first policy for small businesses only. And so it is from 0 up to 388,000. And here again, if they're using this, the chances are the solicitation is informal. It is not posted on Cali Procure. Next slide. Okay, this is what we call a capability statement. This is a resume, and this is a real, a real easy one, right? Here's the thing. There are 3 requirements. Number 1, 1 page. It can be double-sided. The second, make sure you have your certifications, okay? And the third is that you have the parent codes. And look at here, he did not put the parent codes for UNSPSC codes and the description, okay? Because if you hand this to me, I don't know what 801.22001 is, okay? You see what I'm getting at? So, and I'm offering you my free services. If you have a capability statement, send it to me and I'll I will correct it and make sure that you are doing it correctly. To find capability statements, just go to Google and type in capabilities, the plural, statement example. Okay? And one last thing, you notice on this statement, he has done it right, capabilities statement, because he has 5 services that he has. He has 5 capabilities. So it technically is pluralized. Little things like that I catch. Next slide. Any questions on this section?
I don't see any questions. Just a comment that I'm going to put this in the chat as well, but NorCal PTech also has a free template that you can use and make your own. And one of the things that we can do is give a quite in-depth review of your capability statement and help you with drafting. So,
and they're free too.
And we are free, or rather,
no cost.
You've already paid with your tax dollars. So,
so there's no cost.
There is no cost.
Next slide, please.
Credit cards.
Okay. Reciprocity partners. These are agencies throughout the state that honor the small business and or DVB certifications. This is another way of putting money in your pockets. Next slide. So if you go to e-procure and click on Find Training and Resources, next slide. Resources to grow your business. It is the first one, and here are the reciprocity partners. And I like to, you'll notice it has the organization with an underline under it, and then it's got the certifications that they honor.
Unknown caller.
And so you'll notice that I've highlighted BART, and I like to show it to show you how easy this could be. You click BART in the next slide. Next slide. And to do business with BART, click the green registration button. What will happen is you will get, and here's the Bay Area, and you see it's got the Bay Area as well as all of the UCs. They all became first policy people. Okay. Anyway, what you do is you start an Excel spreadsheet like you have the advocate list, and you put the agency, the supplier ID number, and then you go to their website and put in either procurement or contracts, and it should give you their buyer's name, phone number, and email. Okay. The one thing I didn't tell you, it's called the 30-second elevator speech. Okay. 4 items: your full name, your company name, your certification number, and what you do. You have 30 seconds to impress these advocates. Okay. Again, your full name, your company name, your supplier ID number, and what you do. Now, you're doing it with DGS, so all those state agencies, it's going to be your SB or DVBE number. I did the same thing with BART, but instead of giving my DGS number, I'm going to give them my BART supplier ID number. Okay. The 30-second elevator speech is universal. Okay. Next slide is Northern California and Sacramento. Next slide. This is the LA area, and you see there's a whole bunch there. Next slide is San Diego. Okay. Next slide is at the end of reciprocity, and we have the utilities. And if you click learn more, okay. Okay, if you, the CPUC, California Public Utilities Commission, has a supplier diversity program that is open to women, minority, LGBTQ+, DVBEs, and people with disabilities. Okay, they just added the disabilities in May. If you are certified as a DVBE, you are automatically put into this database. Okay, and so what you do is on the bottom section of this slide, it says how to open up your profile. You want to check your contact information and your federal employer ID number if you gave it. Okay, those are the 2 things that you always want to check on this as a DVBE. Next slide. Okay, and here's all that stuff that I was talking about. What's really nice is news and events, applying for the certification, search certified directory, all this good stuff. Looking for bid opportunities, things like that. So they are really organized over at the CPUC. Next slide. Emergency contracting. Because of COVID and the fires, my group of people, my peers, created this emergency registry, and it is the KISS principle all over again. Next slide. These are the emergency categories. We started out with 15 last October. We're now up to, I believe, 30 here. And so if you can be in one of these categories, definitely get into the registry. The big thing about the registry is that we need your goods or services now, okay? Not a week or a month from now. It's Johnny on the spot. Next slide. And here are the 5 things you'll need to give us: your certification number, your emergency categories, your description of products, your business address, and your emergency numbers. Okay, very simple. Next slide. If we go to Cali Procure, click on Find Training and Resources. Next slide. There is the link under Inside State Contracting, the 3rd bullet. And you click on that. Next slide. And on the right side, it explains everything and has the categories. And on the top left is where you, as a small business or DVBE, would get registered. And under that are buyers. If they want to use you, they need to see you, and so they have to register. And so when you fill out your application and hit submit, you will get an email saying you have submitted your application. You do not get congratulated, you're in the database. Someone from my group reviews your application to make sure that you meet the emergency criteria. And then that's usually 24 to 48 hours. And then you get, congratulations, you're in the database. Last year, we awarded $1.5 million just out of this database. So it's slow in everyone using it, but it is working. So next slide. CUF, commercially useful function. Okay. To perform CUF, you must execute a distinct element of the work. Perform, manage, supervise the work. Perform work that is normal for the firm's business, services, and functions. Negotiate price, determine quality and quantity, ordering, installing, and making payment. Not contracting a portion of the work greater than expected by industry practices. Okay, next slide. Okay, you are not performing CUF if there's an extra participant. For example, I'm the prime, my brother-in-law is a DVBE and there's mandatory participation. I called Joe up and say, hey, Joe, you're still certified as a DVBE, aren't you? And he goes, yeah. And I say, do you mind if I use your number for the, for this solicitation? You don't have to do anything. I'll do all of the work and I'll slip you $5,000 under the table. Okay. That happens all the time, unfortunately. Okay. What we call a pass-through. Okay. You're not performing the work as in stipulated in the bid, or you're no longer used to provide goods or services. What happens is my brother-in-law and my sister get a divorce, okay, and he's actually doing the work, but he stops work, okay? He's getting even not only with his sister, but his brother-in-law, me, the prime. Anyway, so I send him, an email. I knock on his door. He totally ignores me. I have to call the administrator of the contract, tell them what's going on. They send him a formal certified letter stating that, that if he doesn't reply and start work, then effective, the end of the month, he is no longer a part of the contract. And so then the administrator and myself and DGS, because it's a DVBE, all will have to go find another replacement for this DVBE. Next slide. Resources. We have the small business development centers. That's for new businesses. They do consulting, planning, marketing, and access to capital. The procurement technical assistance centers, that's for established businesses. Those are the PTACs, and that's for government contracting. And finally, SCORE, those are for new businesses, and they basically give you a mentorship. Next slide. So in review, let's go through all of them. Next slide. We've updated both your profiles, your California profile that the world sees, and your notifications profile, where you have to put both your parent codes and your 8-digit specific codes. We looked at bids. These are the formal bids. We went to skippers, which was the past purchases, to show what agencies were buying. And then we talked about advocates. Those are your new best friends. We talked about reciprocity. Those are agencies that that honor the small business and DVBE certifications. We talked about emergency contracting, and we talked about CUF, commercially useful function, and we talked about resources that are available to you. Next slide. We would like for you to give us any success stories. We're always out there, hopefully we're not doing this in vain. You are making, you're making money, and we'd like to know about it. Next slide. And to stay updated, if you go to LinkedIn/company/DGS-OSDS, you can follow us. Okay, next slide. And if you would like to book an appointment with either myself or my peers on introduction to state contracting, find contract opportunities, Cal e-procure registration and certification, and updating my Cal e-procure profile, there is the QR code. Okay, next slide. Remember, you are getting a copy of this. And so I want to thank everyone, and I want to thank James for inviting DGS to participate. And with that, I will ask if there's any more questions.
Yeah, we do have one question. First of all, thank you, Wayne. We also appreciate the partnership and the sponsorship. Ralph James is asking, can past performance work done for other agencies be included on the capability statement?
Oh, absolutely. Past performance, yeah.
100%.
Like I said, just make sure that you don't go over 2 pages, So, but yeah, if you can put that all on there, go for it.
Yep. They sure love to see that you are competent and that you know what you're doing. No better way to show that than actually having previous government contracting successes. Right. And the second best thing is having some private industry success as well.
Yes. We're leaving you with my contact information again. Like I said, I'm doing a workshop tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So just send an email to me, wayne.gross@dgs.ca.gov, and just put, I need training, and I will send you the link. And I usually have between 20 and 40 people there, and I promise I can change your life. Not too many people can say that, but if you follow what I do, I was very blessed. In last month, I was down in San Diego at an event. This lady came up to me and she said, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "No, I'm sorry, I don't remember you." But she's there. I listened to everything you told me to do, and last year we did $1.5 million in government contracts because of you. And that made me really feel good. And I asked her to send me a success story, which she did also. But it can be done. With the advocates, be persistent. The biggest complaint I get is, I contacted 10 of them and no one, responded. It's called perseverance. They're all busy. And so, be persistent If nothing else, send them your capability statement and say, hey, I know you're busy, but if you would kindly look at my statement and let's talk about it, okay? And then if nothing else, be a professional stalker. Everyone loves that one, okay? What that means is we have a calendar of events, go to them. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And so, you know, if you find out that, you know, that, look, for example, I'm going to be at an event next Thursday down in LA, and we sent out an e-blast, you know, inviting everyone, you know, to be there, to meet me, or to meet whoever else is there, you know. And so, you know, and just, you know, get your name out there, you know, so that they know exactly what you can do. And if you can't do something, okay, and someone contacts you and says, hey, can you put a bid on this? And you go, you know, you would be interested, but you're too busy, whatever. Thank them, saying, unfortunately, at this time, I can't bid on this, but thank you for giving me the opportunity. That way, you're not blackballed, you know, that they're going to keep on contacting you. I'll get off my soapbox now.
No, that's what we're here for, Wayne. We're here for your soapbox.
But I get a little preachy.
All right. Well, I don't know if we have any other questions, but I just want to talk. We're going to tomorrow. Our Veterans Small Business Week series will conclude, switching from the state side over to the federal side with a maximizing VOSB, SDVOSB. That's veteran-owned small business, or the service-disabled version of that certification. These kind of opportunities in the federal government. Donnie Williams from the VA is going to be giving an excellent presentation. It's a real treat. So that is tomorrow, Friday at 10 a.m. So please join. Much like this one, it won't cost you anything to join. I don't see any questions in here, and we're right at about the hour, and we've been having Q&As all the way through. So I hope everyone had a good time. As you exit the webinar, on your way out, you will be shown a survey link. Basically what this is just a satisfaction survey you can fill out anonymously if you'd like. It takes literally 2 minutes. Just let us know what you thought of today. We love to hear it. We always want to improve our presentations, and that's the name of the game. So we hope to see you at future presentations, and thanks again to Wayne. And thanks to Kelly as well, who's with the VBOC, who gave an excellent intro presentation about their organization. All right, thank you everyone.